There it is. Yeah. Another night. Thursday night. Conversation. Whitney-Dwayne. Trey is not in the building tonight, but she's still with us in spirit.
Yeah, she's not feeling well today.
But we are live. We are ready for work. We are ready to have another powerful conversation, another night of empowerment, another night of inspiration.
That's what we do.
Another night of healing, another night of transformation, another night of great perspective, another night where we just come together, man, and just do our best to give one another and you guys this energy and this vibe that helps us continue to journey on this in this life throughout, right? Just the trials and tribulations of this life, man. So thank you for tuning in. Another night conversations with Whitney and Dwayne and Trey, our podcast show. We are in the building tonight. Round of applause. Let me see. It's that one right there, number one.
Round of applause. Okay,
there
here we go.
There you go. There we go.
As you see, I'm sitting in a different seat.
There we
go. I'm trying to get used to the seat.
There we go.
Right?
There we go. Round of applause. Thank you, God, for another night, another day where you kept us, you preserved us, you forgave us, you gave us mercy, you provided for us. Thank you so much. Moment of silence for the people who are no longer physically with us anymore.
Yeah, I need that right now.
Moment of silence for them. And
shout out to Tamika, sleep in peace.
Yeah. Shout out to the people who transitioned today, yesterday, days prior to today and yesterday. And we're going to do our best, man, to honor them with another great conversation, man. I know how to go forward. That's not the topic, but just how to go forward. Wounded, how to go forward with this pain, how to go forward being financially stable and secure. How to go forward whole, how to go forward healing, how to go forward accepting when things don't go the way you thought they was gonna go. How to just go forward, man, going forth, man. That's what we're gonna get into tonight, along with some other things. But thank you for tuning in. What's going on, man? Let's get into it.
So we want to thank everyone for, like Dwayne said, for tuning in tonight, this evening.
Yeah.
And mean the authentic you.
There it is.
This is the inspiration for our podcast.
Yes, it is.
Conversations with Whitney-Dwayne. Inspirational messages to help you meet you. Please get your copy. Copy is still available. Support us. Thank you for everyone who supported us thus far. This book has been a blessing to a lot of people, also to myself. Yeah. Right? Because it gives me inspiration. I go back to it every now and then just to make sure that I am right. We know authentic you. Then we have Don't Drop Out on You.
Yeah, the second edition to the book family. Yes, to the Whitney and Dwayne Ministries, Whitney and Dwayne work. Right, my co-laborer, my partner in ministry, my partner in Christ. We put together another transformational piece. This one right here, man. We want to help people transform. Check this out real quick, man. We living in a time where people are actually giving up with.
Yeah.
They dropping out.
I'm doing social media situation too. So if you see me not,
don't worry about it. I got your back, right?
I'm doing five things at once like I always do.
But real quickly, man, a lot of the people right now, people are overwhelmed, people are frustrated, people are hurting, people are angry, people are grieving, people are going through various changes, financial hardships, people are going through a wide range of things. And we have some literature inside of this book, paperback, very relatable, very comprehensive. No words in there that you got to get a dictionary for. There's some things inside of this particular book, and we just want to encourage every parent, every child, every person that's dealing with the challenges of life to make sure you get your hands on this piece right here, because there's some literature inside of that piece that's going to help you deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with, and not just deal with it, but overcome it, because we don't need you to drop out on yourself right now. We don't need you to drop out on your family, because there's somebody who loves you. There's somebody who cares about you. There's somebody who's rooting for you. There's somebody who believes in you. Even if the people who are leaving you and ain't feeling you, whatever that situation is, on the job, in the family, friendships, whatever the case may be, there is somebody who is believing. There's somebody who's cheering. There's somebody who's making sacrifices for you, even though you're the person who's always giving to everybody else. We need you not to drop out on yourself. So you want to make sure you get your hands on this book right here, man. If you're working with kids, please contact us. We want to be able to come inside of wherever you are. If it's a school, a community center, a college, a detention center, wherever you may be, a correctional facility, wherever you may be, we want to be able to come inside of where you are, man, and be able to have a conversation with the youth, because that is what really inspired the book. We was inspired by looking at what some of the children were dealing with as a result of just engagements that we had and conversations that we had with the kids, and we said we needed to come up with something to write for them to be able to connect with. Because the truth of the matter is, as we say every time we have this conversation, there's literature inside, or curriculums rather, inside of schools that is a disconnect from a lot of from the children's reality. And there's some material inside of this piece right here that speaks to the reality that they're dealing with, and we want to encourage you to get your hands on it. No disrespect to your curriculum or your school or whatever program you have created, but we know that there is some material inside of this book right here that will encourage a conversation that will at least help one. That's all we after is one. If we can get 1 million and 2 or 10 million, that'd be great. But if it's just one, we'll be content with that as well, because we know that there's some literature inside of this book that will help yourself or your child not drop out on them.
You know what? All my teacher friends, all my friends who are superintendents, everyone who knows that we are for the kids, we need your support. We need your support. We cannot do this by ourselves. It takes a village, right? So I need you guys. I need you, right? Not even myself and Dwayne. The kids need us, right?
Yes.
So like Dwayne said, we need to put this book into the hands of our youth. I'm a teacher. I know and also we're parents, but I'm a teacher. I know what my kids are going through. They need this message that we're bringing. We talk about resilience. We talk about not giving up on themselves. We talk about becoming who they are created to be. And this is a conversational starter for parents. For parents, if you can't talk to your kids about certain topics, I know growing up for myself, my parents could not talk to me about relationships, about sex, about things that parents try to escape. This is a conversational starter for your kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In order to save your kids, you need to tell them your story. We can't sugarcoat things and sweep it underneath the rug and expect them to listen and say, don't come in the house at 10. Don't come in the house at 11. Don't do this. Don't. Why, Ma? Why? You got to have an explanation. So please get the book, Amazon, wherever books are sold. All right?
That's good. That's good, Whit. That's good.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? Give us tell us about this Go Get It we got coming up.
Okay, so Go Get It 2019. I'm so excited about it. It's 4th annual Go Get It Women's Empowerment Conference, and we're not secluding the men. And men.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And men. No, thank you. And men. We had men. Actually, the men came out last year. It's the first time. No, it's not the first time. Men,
it was sold out, by the way.
It was sold out. Yes, the tickets were sold out. Our special guest was a honoree last year.
Yeah.
But we need you to be in the building November 16th, 2019 at the Watson Hotel. You're not going to want to miss this. The theme is Breakthrough.
Yeah.
Breakthrough. Just listen to that title, right?
Breakthrough.
Breaking through. Listen, sometimes you got to create doors for yourselves. People are not going to open the doors for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to create. So we're talking about how you're going to create that table, how you're going to create that door. And also, sometimes God needs to break us in order for us to be able to break through, right, into what he has for us. You need to be there. Transformational speakers. Dwayne is one of the speakers.
Yeah!
It's going to be so
That's
phenomenal. This is our 4th annual. Vendors,
can't wait.
Yes, vendors, if you're interested. I only have a couple of spots left, so you need to get with me. You know what I'm saying? November 16th is 10 to 5. I want to see you there.
Can't wait.
And that's it.
Can't wait to go.
So you have.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
I want to still stay on. I want to stay on.
Yes, go stay on. Go get it.
I want to stay there for a second, man. I'm excited to be blessed to be have another opportunity rather to be a speaker at this particular event. Support my sis Whit as she's on her 4th year, carrying this vision, building this vision alongside her two. Shout
out to my partners, Miss Chu.
There you go.
And LaShawn.
I was going there.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I gotta give them a shout.
I'm gonna stay where I'm at, right? So shout out to you guys, man, for this particular vision, right? Because it's only gonna get bigger. It's only gonna get bigger, and I'm just humble and grateful and honored to be a part of it. and just continuously serving, right? So listening to you, I finally got my title. My title, right?
Okay, so can you email it to me, or you want to tell the people right now?
Can I?
Yeah, you tell the people right
through
now.
It all. Tell me through it all. That's my title.
Through it all.
Through it all. Through
I
it
like
all.
that.
Yeah, through it all. That's my title.
That's interesting.
That's my title this year. You just gave it to me because I was playing around with different, trying to come up with catchy themes and all to fit the theme. And nothing was coming. I have no. It was blank. I'm just keeping it 100. It was just nothing, right? Mm-hmm. But just now listening to you, through it all, that just really resonated in my spirit, and that's my title. Through it all. Through it all. I might add some more to that. Stands tall. I may, but through it all.
All right.
So I'm excited about this year's 4th annual of Go Get It Women and Men's Empowerment Conference. Last year was sold out. We will definitely be in the building again. Give them the address where it's going to be.
It's going to be at the Watson Hotel.
You said that like everybody know where that's at.
It's in the city, so check me out.
There you go.
I can't remember the address. It's on 57th Street. It's in New York.
Okay, there we go.
Hit us up. Eventbrite. The tickets are on sale. We have an early bird special until the end of the month, end of July.
There we go.
Get your tickets. 'Cause after July is going up in price. Okay.
So please make sure you get your tickets on Eventbrite. Make sure you are in the building. For all my people who do rock with me and vibe with me, I will be in the building. If you want a place to come and hear some of this vibe and some of this energy along with some of the other phenomenal speakers that will be there, you want to make sure that you get your ticket right now because I will be there and they will be there and some other phenomenal people who will be in the building. Downtown, Middletown, New York City in November, we will be going to get it. We will be going after it. We are the people who are not giving up or dropping out on ourselves or these visions. We are not allowing life to bully us around. We're not allowing relationships, whatever, or sickness or financial hardship, whatever the challenge is that is in front of you. We're not letting none of that stuff stop us from unleashing and any of these dreams and any of this stuff that's inside of us from staying inside of us. We gonna unleash this stuff. So we want to encourage you guys to make sure that you're in the building, man. So that's the Go Get It. Once again, shout out to, not even once again, we're gonna switch and get into my Vibe With Me Army. The Vibe With Me Army. I'm grateful for everybody who tunes in every morning to the morning videos, to the morning vibe. I'm extremely grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Every week, right, I do a little check-in, right, and every week I have a minimum of about 50,000 to 60,000 people who come to my page every day and watch and get this vibe every day. So I'm extremely grateful for those numbers. Not to focus on the numbers, but everybody who's getting reconnected back to God, most importantly. That is my main concern, that you are spiritually connected. So shout out to the Vibe With Me Army. Shout out to the people who tune into the videos. Shout out to everybody who repost them, share them, send them to people in the DM, and is feeling encouraged, feeling inspired, feeling stronger. Now, my Breaking Bread situation. We are at our second Breaking Bread with D. Graham. The first one, shout out to everybody who came through to the first Breaking Bread brunch with D. Graham. We on our second one. This is more of a soul food situation. We actually going to give you some of a 80s party theme kind of vibe in this situation. We're going to mix the two between the 80s and the 90s, but we're going to give you that word most importantly. I can't wait to preach this word that God has given to me. I'm excited about it. This Sunday, July 14th. If you haven't got your tickets, make sure you get your tickets. We're going to be in the building from 3 to 5, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to give you 3 to 6, maybe even 7, because I just got a lot of energy that I feel like the people need right now in a time where people are just not feeling spiritually connected, just really not feeling what it is that they're going through. And I just want to just allow God to use me with what it is that God has given me to say. So this Sunday, if you have not gotten your tickets, you can contact me on my Instagram or my Facebook. Those are my social media handles. Contact me if you really want to come to this and support and get what you need in order to help you deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with. And that's what I got going on right now. The Vibe With Me movement and the Breaking Bread situation. And Whitney and I love those claps, right? And the Don't Drop Out on You. That's what's going on, man. We got a lot of energy for you guys. That's what I got right now. What else we got going on?
Just to let everyone know that we have our prayer call, Monday Morning Glories, that we facilitate every single Monday. Join us for Monday Morning Glory prayer from 7 a.m. to 7:15. Check us out.
Yeah.
You can get the number on our social media handles. All right?
There we go.
And that's it. So, this is a segment where, and we're going to have our special guest chime in. He doesn't know about it, but he's going to be a part of it. But this is our spirit check. right? Our spirit check segment.
Yeah.
This is where we check our spiritual climate. So how we feeling? And we won't let you. We'll start off so you know where we're going, right? So we check our spiritual temperature, see where we are, where our feelings are, where the day, you know, where we what are we feeling spiritually? What are we feeling in our soul? So go ahead, Dwayne. You go first.
No, I knew you was gonna do that.
Yeah. Why not?
Right now, I'm feeling very, very excited. Right now, I'm feeling very, very excited and grateful. Honestly, and mainly because I'm not the one that's getting weak. That's how my spirit is right now. I'm grateful that I'm not the one that's getting weak right now. No judgment, no criticism to the people who going through the various challenges that they're going through. And I'm not speaking like I'm not going through, because I am. But I'm grateful that I'm not getting weak while I'm going through what it is that's before me. And that's my spirit today. I'm glad that I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more radical. I'm getting more fearless. I'm attacking these visions with like a level of like just a ferocious. I don't even know if this is a word, but I'm gonna say ferocious, right? Like, no, it is a word. I want to say ferociousness, right? I'm just being ferocious right now with these visions right now. I'm attacking, like, and I'm not allowing anything or anybody to stop what it is that I'm believing in. So I'm just glad that I'm not too weak or so weak that I'm allowing what's in front of me to bully me around, that I don't even care no more. I'm just emotional. I'm just in my feelings, and I'm just getting worse. That's my spirit check right now. I'm feeling amazing.
That's great.
How are you feeling, Whit?
My spirit check is my heart is a little bit heavy because I had a friend who God decided to lift from this place, and she is sitting with him in glory. So, you know, I was reminiscing on the time I had with her, and I'm glad I was able to experience her spirit. So, you know, my heart is a little heavy, but at the same time, I'm happy that I was able to experience who she was at, you know, during our teenage years, you know, and so. But my heart is also in a place of service. Like, it's not about me. It's not about me trying to be at a certain place in my life. Like, I really want to be where God wants me to be. My heart, I'm just in a mode of wanting to love, you know, wanting to serve, wanting to be there for my friends, wanting to be there to lift people and help people during a time of when they feel like, you know, all hope is gone. You know what I'm saying? So God is doing something in me that I'm just about service. It's not about anything else. You know, I just want to serve, and I want to help. God has put in some visions, and it's just, you know, it might sound like I'm all over the place, but service. I want to shout out Pearl's. I want to shout out Pearl for hooking me up with the earrings.
Shout out to Pearl. Shout out to Pearl for the wonderful jewelry that my sis Whit is rocking right now.
Box.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Pearl, for the earring and the necklace set.
There we go.
Thank you so much for that. She, you know, check her out. www.pearlsjewelbox.com.
There we go.
She has the banging jewelry.
There we go.
She is dope. Please check her out on Facebook and all that stuff. You can catch her on my page. But my spirit is feeling, I'm feeling a whole bunch of things, but I know my calling, I don't even know.
Okay.
It's look, yeah. So Q, you got the point where we going here?
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, how's your spirit,
So
Q?
how's your spirit?
You know what? Regardless of how it was, how it is now, is motivating, because you know, this brother's energy over here is magnetic.
Yeah.
You know, I feel you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of both of you. Thanks for having me.
Wow.
Condolences to, you know, your loss. But yeah, I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling motivated, and I'm also feeling radical as well. So, you know, it's a blessed feeling.
Yeah,
That's
thank
dope.
you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here. You know, let me just message, right? No matter like what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, You gotta get in. You gotta find some place that's gonna allow you to still push through, right? Allow you to still do what God is calling you to do, or still just get up. A lot of us are experiencing some heaviness, right? A lot of us are experiencing loss. A lot of us are experiencing a financial hardship. A lot of us are feeling these things where that we can't control at this time, but you have to just make sure you just still continue to push, to get up, and still do what God is calling you to do. Like, life is short, you know what I mean? We spend so much time on focusing on what we don't have, focusing on the people who walked out of our lives, focus on the people that are hating on us, that don't talk to us, who don't believe in the visions, that don't see us how God sees us. You don't have time to focus on that. You got to focus on the life that you have and that God has given you, the breath that he's given you to keep moving forward. You cannot focus on those negative people, right? Because we're not promised tomorrow. So you got to make sure that you take every single day that God gives you to breathe, and make sure it counts. It got to count for something. It got to count for something. And I'm gonna let you chime in, because I know you itching, Dwayne. You know what I'm saying? And I just have to say that because experiencing any type of loss, or I think sometimes as we take life for granted. You know what I'm saying? We're doing things that do not push us forward. We hold grudges that don't push us forward, that keep us in a place of complacency, and we have this fear. When God gives a vision, we say, we don't have the money to do that. We don't have the provision to do that. We don't have the people in the corner. Instead of just doing it, we're not promised, right? We're not promised tomorrow. So
that's good, Whit. That's good.
Just keep going, keep pushing, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it seems like.
I want to speak.
You gotta push.
I want to speak to the person who doesn't see anything to push for, right? I want to speak to that person real quickly, right? Before I surrendered, right? Before I surrendered, right? And surrender is daily, real quickly, before we get into tonight's topic of conversation. Before I surrendered daily, right? I had a period where I surrendered. And God started to show some stuff to me in terms of how the rest of my life would look. But before I surrendered, all I could see is how my life used to look, right? So I love the language that Quincy just shared, right? I focused a lot on how it was. I always dwelled. I always looked back. I always focused and was fixated on how it was and, what I did wrong, because I didn't see beyond, right? It wasn't until I surrendered, right, that I started to allow God to show me how the rest of my life could look, right? And going into next month, prayerfully, I make it there, right? But going into next month is the month of August, where that makes a year, right, of where my brother transitioned. So I can identify with the people who are in spaces where you are consumed with whatever it is that is trying to consume you, whether it's grief, whether it's health challenges, whether it's financial hardship, whether it's failed relationships, failed marriages, right, or whatever, or unemployment, whatever it is, the division still ain't take off, whatever it is, where you can't see beyond what you're in, and because you can't see beyond it, it's hard to listen to conversations like this. It's hard to let your spirit be receptive to stuff like this, because you keep telling me to hold on and keep telling me to press, but I don't see nothing to press for. I want to speak to the person tonight to help you understand that I know what that feeling is like, because when I didn't surrender, I didn't see nothing either. I didn't believe nothing either. I didn't want to do some of the stuff that we're encouraging you to do when other people was trying to encourage me to do it too. So I want to just encourage you tonight to say, yo, you know what? I know what that feeling is like. But what I want to also say in saying that I understand what that's like is that it only gets worse if you don't do it. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse, and I got worse until I surrendered spiritually to a plan that was bigger and better than the plan that I had for myself. And that's all I want to insert to that person who's going to listen to this conversation tonight. And even though you are in a space where you're not feeling anything because you're consumed with what you're going through, it didn't get better for me. I got worse. Until I surrendered to a plan that was bigger than the plans that I had for myself, that's when it started to get hopeful. And that's when it started to get better as long as I put that work in. And that's important for us to understand.
You know what? T.D. Jakes said something that I'm never going to forget, right? And I thought about this before you even said it. There are people fighting for in their last breath in the hospital to trade spaces with you. There's always somebody, he said that, and I thought about that. There's always somebody worse off than you. There's always somebody that will want to trade places with you. So the fact that you are breathing at this time is a testimony that you can help, the situation can change. You know what I'm saying? So I need you to believe that. Even if you can't see nothing, you breathing. You're breathing. There's somebody that's worse off than you. And that's it.
Okay, there it is, man.
So I got the energy now, right?
There it is. There we go.
Because
that's our spirit check. That's our spirit check segment.
That's our spirit check segment,
right? Where we not only check each other's spirit, but we make sure that the energy is right before we get into the topic of conversation. Because
life is precious, right? So we're gonna get in our what's going on segment.
Can I say this real quick before we go? I'm not gonna be long. I just want to say this because I've been and this dropped in my spirit real quick, right? And I'm not nobody's wrong for making.
Don't
this
be
statement,
disagreeing.
Right? I'm not trying to disagree.
No, because I'm coming back.
Right? But I want to say this, right? Because I've heard this a lot.
What you hear?
Life is so short, and I want to say this.
Go ahead, so I can clap back.
I think life becomes short for the people who don't see beyond the pain. That's what I think. I think that life is short when you can't see beyond the pain.
You know what? Yeah, maybe not. But look, I always say that you're dead longer than you're living.
Which is true. But I'm just saying, I think that people who see beyond the pain and work.
I see beyond the pain.
I'm not saying you don't. What I'm saying is people who can see. Short. And that's fine. I'm not trying to disagree. You can have that belief. It's okay.
I know.
Right? I just want to insert this into the conversation.
Insert it.
Right? Inserting this piece into the conversation that people who are living in their purpose, I don't think that they make those. Not that I'm not referring to you. I'm just saying. I gotta say that.
I'm one of those who are living in their purpose, and I still feel like life is short.
Because you sure are, right? Just to be clear.
But
right?
But we got another perspective. So go ahead.
So that's all I want to say. Like,
no, that's true. You got that perspective.
It's short for the people who have a hard time seeing beyond their pain. That's all I'm saying. It feels short. It doesn't mean that it is, because you got people who are, living 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of them people probably don't even feel like they even know what their purpose is. They don't even know if they don't even believe they fulfill purpose. They probably never even accepted God, and they don't even probably use that language. But they 80, 90, 100 years old.
No, I agree. That is a perspective. I'm just saying, my perspective is.
But let's get into it. Let's go.
I see beyond, and I still feel like life is short. I ain't promised tomorrow.
Okay. There we go. That's what we do on the show. Our perspectives.
Dwayne and I don't agree with everything. It might seem like we do.
No, we don't.
But we don't, right?
What's the... All right, let's get into it. No, but let's go.
This is our What's Going On segment. And our What's Going On segment is Treasure's not here. Trey Panache is not here. But I'm here. Dwayne's here. And our special guest is here. This is our What's Going On segment. We're going to introduce him, and then we're going to get into our topic of conversation.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, I want to do... I would like you to actually introduce yourself, because you can introduce yourself better than I could.
Okay.
And I'll chime in. And let people know who you are.
Well, I'm Quincy Luzunaris. I'm the CEO of Kredit Koncepts, which is a credit improvement firm that focuses on just helping individuals deal with financial hardship, helping them understand the power of credit and how to leverage it, amongst other financial services. I'm also the co-founder of a nonprofit called the Rare Foundation, where we assist formerly incarcerated individuals with financial hardship issues. We attack the veteran population and trying to help reduce homelessness through leveraging the power of credit, and also college graduates who are suffering from that $1 trillion student loan deficit. So, I'm a father. I'm a great boyfriend, I hope, and that's me.
Transparency and truth at its finest, baby.
Soon to be a great husband, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's the goal. But Quincy, Q. You want us to call you Q or Quincy? Which one? Q. You prefer Q? All right, we're gonna call you Q. So I met Q through my brother, and they have. I met them through my brother, and Q. Can you just tell us a little bit about your story before the Kredit Koncepts started? Like, how did you even come up with the vision, the dream?
Well, I mean, it started, like my parents tell it at a young age. I was always into finance early. I hear stories on how I used to take little bags of popcorn to school and break them up into little bags and sell them to my friends for 10 cents. So she knew I had an entrepreneurial spirit at an early age. And sometimes, when we come from certain environments, not to, make excuses, but sometimes when you don't have the know-how or the financial know-how and you come from a struggle, you find any resources to survive and make it. And I was led down certain paths that led me to being incarcerated for some time. And, I've always knew that I had a bigger vision, than where my life was going. But sometimes it takes having to sit still for a while to really put it in perspective, and I sat still for a while, and and in doing so, I knew that, that when I was able to, taste and enjoy my freedom again, that I would do things completely different. So I used that time of idleness to come up with a plan, and I was relentless in making sure that once I was given that opportunity, that I was going to execute with every breath, with every second that I had in the day, because I gave my life to so many things that weren't productive, that I vowed to make sure I was on a positive path that inspired until I couldn't do it anymore, and that's the path that I've been on.
That's dope. When did that okay, so I know the vision of entrepreneurship took place, your parents instilled in you, right, with the popcorn. But when did that transformation take place? In that, was there a set time in your idleness that you said that this is what I want to do as far as helping with the financial needs of making, helping us as a community better as far as financially?
Yeah, well, first it came from self-healing, and I think that's part of the rehabilitation, that regardless of where you at and what the environment gives, there's always self-healing that you can do on your own. And I figured that out when I didn't have the resources in these institutions and prisons that don't really rehabilitate. I decided to do it myself. I was remembrance of a story that that one of my family members said about my father, where coming from Vietnam and given, just constantly, signing up or staying longer than what he had to, from being wounded, you was given options to leave and he decided to stay, just really giving all to his country. And when he came home, he got his first his disability or Vietnam check. And it was, I think, $30 for the month. And he was so disgusted that after putting his life on the line, that this is his financial compensation, that he took all his war memorabilia, his medals, his photos, he put it in a garbage can in the middle of the Bronx, and he just set it on fire. Wow. Because he knew that he couldn't really rely on the government, and you didn't leave Vietnam without having some type of effect, let's say, whether it be mentally, whether it be you didn't leave there all intact in some way. Just too much trauma, just too much thing that you've seen. So it led him to do some things that that he just couldn't prevent due to things that he's seen in the war, and he had to sit down for a while. And when he sat down, he basically replayed his whole life and was his own therapist. I mean, it took him to a phase of what people can call you're losing it or crazy, but he had to get to that deep place to kind of heal himself. And then once he came out, he was just a new man. And I think that's what I went through. I was in such a deep place, from isolation, and my incarceration lasted almost 7 years. And until I did that self-healing, then it all opened up for me, and it put me on a path to where, okay, I got the blueprint now. I just needed time to execute.
That self-healing, we talk about that a lot on the show. It provides clarity.
Yeah.
For a vision for yourself.
Yeah, big time. And
big time.
I think that
that's powerful.
One of our key words that we use in our conversations, just off the podcast and off our prayer call, is transformation, right? And that word is so critical and key for us, or rather essential for us, is because you got to be willing to go through that process. So listening to your story, Q, being able to sit in that, right? Because having a similar experience of prison, there's a lot of brothers who I did time with who didn't sit in that idle time and really deal with the issues that probably played a part in why we ended up where we ended up in the first place, right? So to be able to sit in that space and really deal with the depths of brokenness, of hurt and darkness, and then come out of that with an effective, right, purposeful plan, right, and then stay the course, right? For me, that's what I'm also hearing. Like I'm proud of you to know that you actually are able to meet the needs of these different populations of people that you call to serve, and you're only able to do that by the grace of God and because you stayed the course. Because I'm more than sure that there were some challenges, and there still are challenges that you're dealing with that can easily be reason for us to resort back to what put us where we didn't want to be in the first place. So the fact that you stayed the course is definitely, let me get a round of applause for Q for that right there.
You know, it's so dope.
That's important for us to insert into the conversation.
It's so dope that you had the willingness to sit there, to confront it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't, wherever we are, if we're incarcerated or some of us are incarcerated, not being behind the walls. You know, we're incarcerated in our homes, we're incarcerated in our jobs, we're incarcerated in the relationships that we're in. You know what I'm saying? So the willingness to be able to sit in it is powerful. So
I mean, it's no coincidence, right? The recidivism rate is over 75% within the first 1 to 3 years. And it's because we're not sitting. We're not self-healing. We're coming out still broken, and it's a revolving door. And I really think that's part of the key.
You know, so out of the self-healing and the awareness and doing the work, you know what I mean? Because, you know, some of us are forced to do the work. Mm-hmm. You know, some of us are forced to self-heal because we're in idle places. However, so coming out of that, right, you know, healing and doing the work, like I said before, you develop Kredit Koncepts.
I actually developed,
How did that go?
With probably about 9 business plans of different.
Like real business plans?
Of real business plans. I mean, from top to bottom, dissect everything I wanted to try outside of a 9 to 5.
Wow, that's dope.
You know, I decided to create, and I knew I needed the experience, you know, being, you know, I didn't graduate from a college, so my training, you know, my learning came, you know, through experience. So, and I learned faster that way. So I decided to just dive in with a plan, and the plan was to come home, somehow get a job in corporate America so I can learn how to run a company, learn it in and outs, play every position that I can and every role that I can. Because being an entrepreneur, you're going to have to wear all hats at some point. So I needed to, you know, learn from the best who I can learn from. And I got that opportunity to secure a decent job, a job that I thought that I would never be able to have. I envisioned myself, when I came home, I didn't want to party. I didn't want jewelry. All I wanted was suits. I wanted a different suit. You had all that stuff already, though, right? No, when I came home with nothing. Yeah, but no, this is, again, you know, you come home with a different mentality, with a different vision, with a different game plan, so everything changes. So right. I just mingled in certain places to where I networked, and, you know, I went up for a position, and I got it. You know, I wound up being the, you know, assistant comptroller, the accountant, the payroll manager, the office manager for a restaurant in the corporate division, and I held that position for about 6 years. And after I felt like I had enough knowledge and enough insight, you know, on how to run a company, you know, I gave them an ultimatum that I knew they wouldn't they wouldn't deliver, so they can force me out. Because sometimes we need that push, you know. And you know, I didn't want to leave a comfortable, you know, guaranteed paycheck every month until I had the heart, but I needed some push. And my push was an ultimatum that I just knew wouldn't be met, just to, you know, get me out the door. And then it was sky's the limit from there. I started all my companies at the same time, which, you know.
Did you recommend that?
No, I definitely don't recommend that. You know, it took a lot of trials and tribulations. But, you know, sometimes when you want to go in, you feel invincible when you inspired. Sometimes you want to feel fearless, like you can, right? You fearless. You want to start everything, and sometimes you need the mistakes, you know, help. And those are one of the mistakes where instead of being everywhere in different companies, I decided to be everywhere in one company, and I created these different ways that I can empower financially individuals in so many different sectors. You know, into the prison sector, into, you know, the real estate, into the auto, into the, you know, to the benefit, you know, and that's what I did.
So, which led you to focus on, after you had all those hats in the financial industry, which led you to focus on the Kredit Koncepts.
Kredit Koncepts was the only company that maintained itself because of the amount of people that are suffering credit-wise. So while my entertainment company was falling, while, you know, my electronic cigarette company was falling at this time. I did all that. My management company, my real estate, and, you know, just to digress, I didn't know the power of credit. I knew that a good credit score, you can obtain so much, but it wasn't until I got introduced into an investment opportunity where I was told that, you know, they're building a stadium in the middle of Brooklyn. This was about 10 years before they actually did it.
I don't know. Is it the Nets stadium that they play?
Yeah, this is the Barclays now.
The Barclays. Oh,
yeah, so
Barclays.
10 years prior to that, I got insight that they were building it. You know, you're hearing of stadiums coming in the middle of Brooklyn, you're like, all right, you know, but the property, you should buy up this property around this area. I wasn't familiar with real estate, but I had an 800 credit score. So, networked with some family, decided on a brownstone 4-family blocks away from where the Barclays Center is now. Almost $1 million I got this property for. And I didn't know the significance of me being responsible for $1 million just by signing my name. So got the property, had tenants, was making good money in the beginning. And then I realized that I got caught up in a real estate scam where I was sold a property that really wasn't the value in what I was sold for. So long story short, after trying to save it and dumping tens of thousands into it, I had to let it go. I couldn't financially do it, and I had to file for bankruptcy. And when I filed for bankruptcy, my credit score went from that high 800s to like a 500 change. And I thought that was it. I was content with having bad credit for the rest of my life, because I didn't even know back then, this was 13, 14 years ago, credit recovery wasn't on the forefront yet. You know, there was only a few people that I didn't really know anybody that knew about how to recover from bad credit. So a family member, she was going through the same situation, and then one day I seen her posting on Facebook, you know, new home and new car. I'm like, cuz,
it was good.
Just filed for bankruptcy like me. How you do that? She was like, oh, I got my credit fixed. I said, you got your credit what? Like, how? So she said, listen, come down, meet this gentleman. Flew down to North Carolina. Sat with the who I looked at was a miracle worker who can fix credit, and didn't impress me. Hearing about how he can do it, yeah, I'm gonna take your credit and I'm gonna fix it, and then it's gonna be fixed.
I'm gonna add some lines to it.
But because he did it, I trusted it. Paid the money that he asked, and in less than 6 months, my 500 was back up to like a high 7s. When I seen that credit score in the 700s, that's when my life changed. Because I said, if you can do that for me and I can learn how to do that, then there's an infinite amount of people that I can help, because everybody I knew had bad credit. And seeing that and going through that experience and really understanding, I flew back down and made him teach me everything he knew for almost 2 months, sat with him. And when I felt I learned enough, I came back to New York, put more focus on the credit company, let everything else go, and that's how it all started. And that was almost 12 years ago. And I never stopped.
Go ahead.
No, just saying, like, it's like trial and error because you had so many companies, right? I'm just trying to figure it out, and it's okay. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna keep trying and trying until something works. You know what I'm saying? Until I'm passionate about this one thing or this couple things. I'm gonna keep doing it until one of these visions work.
It's so interesting, right?
saying?
Because I never thought about this until this conversation tonight, right? That, again, the language that we've been conditioned to use, right? That we use trial and error, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, wow, I'm listening to Q and I'm saying, wow, this is experience and effectiveness. He experienced what he experienced so he can learn how to be effective with whatever the vision was that worked. So it wasn't an error. It was an experience that he had to experience in order for him to find what was going to be effective and what worked for him. And here he is now doing what it is that's working for him. So I just wanted to kind of like relanguage that thing right there, right? Because sometimes that language right there can make a person feel so discouraged, right? So it's like, damn, I'm messing up. I'm doing something wrong. And no, you're not doing nothing wrong. You're experiencing whatever it is that you're supposed to experience in order for you to find out what is effective in order for you now to do what it is that you was purposed to do. So now here he is, doing the things that he's effective and efficient at doing. He had to go through the experiences.
You need that.
So how can you help those who are struggling with their credit? And people might say, you know what, look, I don't have no money. I'm struggling anyway to even try to make ends meet, to pay my bills, to put food in my baby's tummy. I can't afford to even fix my credit. I don't have the money to do it. I want to get there. But like, so how can you help us?
Well, first of all, you have to know that you can't make excuses because one of the biggest misconceptions is just that people think they can't afford to get themselves into a better position when actually you can't afford not to, because when you are operating behind the 8 ball with low credit scores, you're actually paying more. You're doing yourself an even bigger disservice because of your higher interest rates, because of your higher down payments, because of not being able to sign for things that you may have to pay for upfront in cash. So it's really not you can't afford to, it's how can you afford not to. And part of the how is just making sure that the service is accessible. One of the goals was to make sure that I put a credit education center in the heart of the community that I grew up in, to make sure that knowledge was accessible to anybody who wanted to learn.
He does have storefronts in the Bronx.
Yeah, we opened up a credit education center on 1175 Castle Hill Avenue. It's the first one that we're familiar with in New York. And we're going on our 3rd year, July 16th, which we're having an event at our location at then, but it's going 3 years in. And since then, I can honestly say that to have the information so accessible, and even the information that's free, can change your financial situation. Because everything starts with just knowing what to do. People think because of credit doesn't care about your salary, doesn't care how much money you make. I have clients that work at McDonald's that are more financially secure than some of my people who make 6 figures. And it's because they know how to leverage the power of that credit score. So there's really no excuses on where you are, how much you make. Credit doesn't discriminate, only unless you don't take the steps to improve it.
How does your personal credit affect as far as wanting to be an entrepreneur?
Number one, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have that discipline and passion. So self-preservation is first. Get yourself in order, because as an entrepreneur, you're going to go through so many changes and challenges where 85% of entrepreneurs don't make it. And it's because of the financial distress and hardship that comes with it, because you're going to have to, as I said, play all hats and all positions at some point.
Facts.
And financially, you may not be able to withstand it. So, making sure that your financial credit or your personal credit is in good standings, but then also understanding that even if it's not, that's what business credit is for. And that's a level that or a topic that is so unfamiliar to entrepreneurs, because 95% of them don't build out that tax ID number. That's like another social. You can build a whole new credit profile regardless of where you personally are. That business credit profile can hold 10 times more than your personal can.
But, you know, when you're applying for like a business credit card and things of that nature, or whatever, they do look at your personal credit.
Well, they look
right?
at your personal credit because your business credit doesn't exist. See, before you get into a position where you want to apply for some things, you got to build it up first.
As far as yourself.
Well, no. Again, you can, and that's what you always want to do. And that's another misconception. You want to keep business and personal separate. Your business and what expenses and what things that you applying for business-wise should not affect your personal credit report. Because remember, statistically, 85% don't make it. You don't want to go down with your ship. If your business doesn't succeed, then your business doesn't succeed. It doesn't mean that you carry on that burden of debt personally. So lenders, when they are checking for that business credit score and they don't see it, then that's when they come in for that personal. But when you have that business credit profile, there's no need to come after that personal because it stands alone. And it doesn't take much to build. It's just a know-how.
I have, we didn't even give them the number, like our people's the number. You know what I'm saying?
The number was going across the screen.
This is dope. You have so much information. So,
where can they follow you to get this information, Q?
Yeah,
they can
give me your social media handles. Give me your website. Give me your business. Whatever you want the people to have and know. Give them that information.
I got the question now. Before you do that, okay. So your services, right? So like the regular person and the person that you know the working person or whatever the case is, you know, they want to build their credit. They have a 550 or a 600 credit score. How do they start? How do they start as far as coming to you?
So
what's the process?
Yeah, the first thing is a free consultation. So we can't start anything unless we know what we're working with. So we got to see what your 3 credit reports look like, where you stand, and then we put the plan of action together. We focus on 3 areas, and when you come with a combine of rebuilding, which we give guaranteed approval, so no matter what your credit score is, no matter when the last time you have an approval, when you join the program, you're going to get a guaranteed $1,500 unsecured line of credit. And what that's going to do is going to add that positive account to the report so we can restart the building.
Is that legal?
Oh, yeah. It's very legal.
No.
It's 0 interest. And the good thing is you don't even have to use it for the first 6 months. And it will constantly build your credit without putting yourself in debt. So that's one, the rebuilding. Then it's the repairing. We got to make sure the foundation is strong. We got to work on any derogatory items you have, whether it's collections, late payment. If it's damaging your credit report, it's subject to removal. Stop thinking that because you know you ain't paid Macy's, or you know you was late paying this, or you know that Verizon that's in collection was yours. It's not about what's on your report. It's about what they can prove. And there's no gray area when it comes to negative info. There's no such thing as 99% accurate. 100% of that information on your credit report has to be accurate, and if it's not, it has to be removed. Now, does that mean that if we remove a $1,000 collection from Verizon that you no longer owe Verizon? No, that debt doesn't just disappear. However, when it's removed from the report, it makes it a lot easier to manage now because there's some error that we was able to pinpoint to get these items removed. Because if it's not 100%, it has to go. And then finally, after the repairing, we have to protect. Identity theft is huge. 15.8 million people a year have their victims of identity theft. And don't think that because your credit where you don't want it to be, that nobody wants your info. Because they can make it to be whatever they want it to be. So we make sure that we provide you with a year of credit monitoring and protection, $1 million of identity theft insurance, fraud alert. So that 3-step approach, repairing, building, and protecting, puts our clients into a great position pretty fast. And they get to monitor and see everything that we're doing every step of the way through an online portal that we create.
Do you have a system where you help them, you're fixing the credit, but help them how to
we have to educate.
We have
to educate because
I do all this and then I can still put myself in the hole as far as my credit's concerned.
I don't want repeat clients. I don't want to see you back in 12 months because you didn't learn the tools needed
Okay.
to come back. So, you know, that education component is what we pride ourselves on, because we know once that is intact, then, you know, we can break the cycle.
Okay, because breaking the cycle. Because I think too, I know, it's the habits that we need to break. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't taught it at all. You know what I mean? So it's the habits that I know our community needs to break in order to be financially secure and have freedom in there. Because that I even tell my son, like, as far as we'll talk about your kids' credit, right? Concept. But I tell my son all the time is that, you know, even jobs, you know, when you're applying for jobs after college or whatever case is, they look at your credit history because it says something about your character. They don't know you. They just know your credit score, your resume, and all that other stuff. So it shows some type of your character, you know. So anyway, it's so important. How much is the service?
That we have packages as low as $59.95 a month until you feel you met your credit objectives and goals. And that's another thing. You have to have a goal when you come into this program, because no matter how many negative accounts we are able to remove, no matter how high we get your score, we feel that if your goal isn't met, then you can feel like you didn't get what you needed out of this program. So you have to come in. I don't care if your goal is to buy a home, get a loan, start a business, get a better interest rate on your car. A goal that's going to put you into a better position, and we'll help you get that goal one way or the other.
Okay, so you got to walk in with, you have to have the vision where you see yourself as far as, you know, your financial freedom.
And if you don't have it, we'll figure it out.
You can figure it out.
We'll figure it out together.
You know? And that's what the consultation is for. You get a free consultation. But I also want to touch on, and we got about a couple of more minutes, about your kids.
Kid Credit.
Kid Credit. He got his son working. If you follow, give him your Instagram and your Facebook.
Well, it's Kredit Koncepts on Instagram and all platforms, and that's Credit with the K, Concepts with the K, and Kid Credit is Kid Credit on all platforms, and that's also Credit with the K, and it's just amazing seeing, you know, the younger generation really gravitate to what he's accomplishing, because he's been around, you know, credit all his life, because I started the company when he was in Pampers.
How old is he?
He's 11.
Okay.
So another huge epidemic out there is child identity theft. You know, we think that because our children aren't old enough to have a credit profile, that these you know, thieves aren't stealing that information. Actually,
parents are also using their kids on socials,
and it's sad, you know. And that's what Kid Credit addresses. He addresses credit protection for not only family members and adults, but also kids as well, along with financial responsibility. He just partnered up with a company called Busy Kid.
He just partnered up?
Yeah, he just partnered up with a company called Busy Kid, where it's a mobile application that uses allowances to help kids identify, you know, financial responsibilities.
That's so dope.
By giving them their own debit card, by marking off their chores on the app, and just really creating a platform at a young age. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Ah, that's so smart.
Yeah. And you can find that out by going to busykid.com/kidcredit.
That is so dope. That's breaking the cycle. That is breaking the cycle and teaching our kids about financial freedom at the early stages of life. That's the only way we're going to do it. Q, please give them your information again.
Well, the Credit Education Center, if you're in New York, is on 1175 Castle Hill Avenue, and that's in the Bronx. You can go to www.kreditkoncepts.com is our website. Find us on all social media platforms. BusyKid/KidCredit and busykid.kidcredit.com.
He was going to be a speaker at an event or something.
Yeah,
right?
he did. He did his first event. We partnered and collaborated with Collaborative. I forgot the name of the company. I'm sorry, but it was great seeing young entrepreneurs, you know, ages 5 to 11, just really motivated. There's no excuses. When, you know, seeing kids starting their companies at 9 and 10 and 11, having that passion, you can't tell me anything. I don't want to hear how, what.
You know what I love about kids? I'm sorry. They're fearless. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking about what's not going to work, what's going to. They don't think about that. As kids, we didn't either. We just did it, and that was it.
The world is theirs, and that's how they see it, you know?
We have a question, but I'm sorry. It's late. It said, how do you build your business credit? How do you start? We talked about that already. You could rewind the audio. but we gotta go. But we're gonna have to have you back for like a
anytime.
part 2, so you can really deep dive with our viewers. We didn't even touch. We never touched really the surface of anything.
It's not enough time.
It's not enough time. We're gonna have
But
to
it is enough time if
negotiate.
you want to show up at the Go Get It Women's Empowerment
Or at the
Conference or the
Breaking Bread,
men,
but
or the Breaking Bread, or Q's. Give them the address one more time.
1175 Castle Hill Avenue. in
There
the
we go.
Bronx. And our mobile credit education
Oh, yeah,
center may be
yeah.
anywhere in your neighborhood at any given time.
He
as
has
well.
a mobile situation going on. We're gonna definitely have him back. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Q,
having me,
for
guys.
gracing
It's a
us, being on our show. This is
Proud of you
part
guys.
1.
This is awesome.
This is part 1. But we're done for this evening. So thank you for tuning in. Conversations with Whitney-Dwayne
Yes.
and Treasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And our special guest
And
Q
our
is in the
special-
building.
and our
Get
special
that
guest.
credit together.
Get that
Let's
credit
rock
together.
and roll.
Yeah.
See you guys next week on another conversation with Whitney and
out.
Dwayne and Trey. We in the building.